welcome to 5 Minute Music Lessons. This is Nick, and this is the intro to the bass. Alright, so if you have played any guitar at all, bass is pretty easy to get into. If you have not, it is not a hard start, right? The biggest problem with bass is figuring out what to do, what not to do, and where you should fit into all of it, right? So there's several different schools of thought into bass. There's several different things you can do to make it work for you, as well as different ways of playing it. What I'm going to do here is just get you started, and then you're going to take it from there, because what really needs to happen with the bass is for you to find your own voice in the instrument. Okay, so what I have today is my only bass guitar, which is my Hofner bass. Obviously, I'm a little bit of a Beatles fan. And a bass guitar has 4 strings, and those are the same as the first 4 on a guitar, which are E, A, D, and G. Okay? Lowest E, next A, next D, and last is G. That's your highest. Okay? Now mine is tuned a half step down today, and I'll probably keep it that way. So you're more than welcome to tune a half step down with me. That would be E flat, A flat, G, or E flat, A flat, D flat, and G flat. But you don't have to. That's just if you're playing along. So let's start out now. A lot of bass players you'll see, and I'm going to scoot back a little bit so you can see the bass a little more. A lot of bass players you'll see play with fingers. Now, when I started out, I played that way. You might see them rest their hand on top of the instrument, kind of do that, or they might do 1 string per finger, which is something I did try when I was younger. But what I found out is, much like the kind of instrument I have here, I like Paul McCartney's style, which was pick. As he started out as a guitar player and went to bass, so playing with a pick on the bass was just something natural to him. And he would tend to lay the palm of his hand over his pickup or over the bridge just a little bit, and that tended to cut off the frequencies just a little bit, just give it a little bit of a palm mute. So instead of, say, if he's playing that E, leaving it wide open, or if he needed to play 4 E's, it might sound more like this, or even more percussive, right? Just depending on what he was going for. So if you've watched another video where I'm talking about chromatic scales, this will be old hat to you. If not, let's talk about chromatic scales again. Just talk about sharp starting here. We're going to go E, F, F sharp G, G sharp A sharp B, C, C sharp D, D sharp, and back to E. E doesn't have a sharp, and B doesn't have a sharp. If we're only talking sharps, we're going from E and getting up to our 12th fret at E for all of our notes in music. So we'll start with our open E, our 1st fret F, next fret F sharp, 3rd fret G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and at the 12th fret the double dots back at E. It's a good idea to try to memorize what notes are on the dots. So for example, start out and try to know your 3rd fret. So there's your G, your 5th fret, your A, your 7th fret, your B, your 9th fret, your C sharp, and your double dots, your E again. Okay? Same thing applies to A string, A sharp, B, C, and so forth. So let's just talk about this E string for a minute. Let's try to do, hold that G. We want to be as close to the edge of the fret as possible without going over. Try to get a nice open whole note like that for that G, right? Some people play with the tips of their fingers like they do on guitar, but because your strings are a little fatter, I tend to lay my finger down on it flat ways, as you may be able to tell on my finger there. So let's try to do just quarter notes. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's do that same thing again, but let's go up to this A. Now I'm gonna hit the A with my pinky, even though I technically could with my ring. You're gonna find most basses, the frets are spaced out a little further than they are on this guitar. So we're gonna use index to pinky, going from 3 to 5. We're gonna do 4 on 3 and 4 on 5. Okay, now let's try eighth notes. Remember, with eighth notes, you can either go straight down, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, or we can alternate the pick, alternate picking. So we're going, that would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So let's try that 4, a 4 count on the G and then a 4 count on the A, or 3 then 5. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So basically with this video, work on your quarter notes, your eighth notes, learning your chromatic scale, at the very least learn your dots on your E string and your A string. That'll get you started, all right? Another thing, you can move on to doing those same things with your 3 and 5 on your A string, which are your C and D notes. All right? Okay, thanks so much. Be sure to visit the Patreon page, and I'll see you next time. Remember to start playing and keep playing.